Welcome back, beer tubers. Ryan here with another episode of San Diego Beer Vlog. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to make mine a Smutty. I'm going to look at the Smuttynose IPA that Chad sent me in our beer trade. So thanks for the beer, Chad. This one, it doesn't say on the bottle, it's 6.9%, but it does have a best for date, which is March 9th of this year. And Smuttynose is out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So let's get this thing open. I was reading on the bottle that this is an unfiltered, and it looked like a bottle conditioned IPA, which is awesome. Okay, so I have the beer poured out. You can definitely tell it's unfiltered. It's really hazy. Not much of a head on here. Maybe like a half finger of kind of bright white, maybe yellow tinged head. Let's get the aroma on it. Definitely East Coast hop profile, no doubt about it. Definitely herbal, grassy, earthy notes. There's definitely a sweeter sort of floral note in there mixed with maybe like a slight lemongrass character. Definitely some sweeter malts coming through in the mix, but yeah, it smells like a really solid East Coast hop profile IPA. So let's dig in. Cheers. So up front, hit with those hops right away. Bitterness. The bitterness tends to be more of like an herbal side. The aroma was a little more kind of like earthy, floral, slight like grassiness, but the herbal, there's sort of like this herbal kind of tea-like note on the bitterness, and I definitely get a lot of that up front. That kind of really bitter, herbal, earthy kindness leads to some sweet sort of like floral, touch of like lemongrass in there, and then the malt comes forward, and it's a really sweet, biscuity, kind of bready malt. Just an ever so slight touch of caramel, but not a whole lot. Balance-wise, it is pretty hop forward. It's a really nice creamy mouthfeel thanks to the bottle conditioning. I really like that in IPAs. So definitely bonus points for them doing that with this beer. Because it just, I mean, even though you get the big kind of intense hop character, there's a creaminess kind of mixed in when that malt kind of comes forward. And I'm assuming they're not using, you know, an English style yeast strain. I'm not getting a lot of like yeast esters in it. Because it's a fairly clean finish, some lingering kind of like herbal tea notes to it. But it's definitely drying on the back end as well. But it's mostly hop. It's definitely hop forward in the balance of the scale of things. So it's definitely an IPA. I like IPAs. I think are styles of beer that should be unbalanced. But everything else, I generally like a good amount of balance in a beer. So I mean, this one does a pretty good job of kind of going forward with the hops, letting them shine a bit more than the malt character. I haven't had a ton of East Coast style IPAs, but this is definitely one of the better ones I've had in terms of using an East Coast style hop profile, which I gotta admit I'm not a huge fan of, and I don't want to like take that bias into account too much for my grading on it. But for this one, I'm gonna go B+. I think it's definitely above average. Doesn't quite blow me away. I just, you know, I prefer West Coast style hop varieties. The more citrusy varieties, orangey or citrusy stuff. Just because, I mean, that's kind of what I grew up with when I was getting into IPAs. So just got really used to that. This is definitely different for me, and I can see if you're on the East Coast and you like this hop profile, definitely a go-to beer for you. So check it out. Can't get this out west. But if you want to know what a really good East Coast IPA tastes like, this is, I think, a good example of the style. So thanks to Chad for the beer. Until next time, please comment and subscribe. Cheers.